and welcome to the world of NekoDecoPop. I'm Nat, your NekoDecoPop host, here and excited to showcase everything we got to experience this season. 2024 is continuing to prove that we are currently in a modern golden age of anime. Make sure to stick around to the end where I will be presenting the second annual NekoDecoPop Awards for the spring 2024 anime season. So with that being said, let's get into it. There is a very good reason that Crunchyroll was dead set on promoting this puppy to no end. From having a weekly countdown to getting popular musicians like Youngblood and One Republic on the music. And it's because this anime is legitimately amazing and absolutely lived up to the hype. Like, we really just saw the birth of one of the next great animes of our time. This anime is about Kafka Hibino. He lives in a world where Godzilla-like kaiju rampage and a defense force has sprung up in response. Kafka, as a 32-year-old, is right on the verge of missing his window to becoming a defense force officer, but he pursues it despite his age, and things happen. Kaiju No.8 has so much potential, and I absolutely need Season 2 to happen immediately. Kaiju No.8 gets a 9.5 out of 10. Ever wonder what your favorite cooking anime would look like if instead of regular ingredients, all of the protein came from the horrific monsters you had to unalive to survive a dungeon? Well, Delicious in Dungeon has you covered. We follow a gaggle of neurodivergent adventurers as they traverse the dangers of an ever-changing magical dungeon. They're searching for one of their party members who got absolutely bodied by a dragon. With little to no money for supplies, they must rely on their own wit and cooking abilities to survive the journey. One of the aspects that I immensely enjoyed is the dub. And not the English dub, the German dub. I came across this clip of the German dub and started to watch the rest of the show in German, which honestly fit the magical setting perfectly.
Köstlich!
Hab ich doch gesagt, oder?
Er schmeckt unterschiedlich, je nachdem, wie man ihn zubereitet.
Hast du Hunger, Marcel? Ich habe noch etwas Skorpionbrühe vom Mittagessen übrig, wenn du willst.
Nein, danke.
Also, jagen wir ein Monster fürs Abendessen.
Erst sagen, mir ist alles recht, und wenn man Vorschläge macht, wird immer nur rumgenörgelt.
I am honestly not really into this genre, and because of that, I didn't feel comfortable giving this a higher score, even though it is a really well done anime. So keep that in mind. I would still highly recommend this puppy, but for my personal taste, we're giving Delicious in Dungeon a 7 out of 10. This puppy had a lot of potential after the first few episodes, but then they had to cram in a fight tournament that took up nearly half of the show and kinda gutted the momentum. Now, this had an absolutely wonderful concept. We have a lone tsundere who is ousted by society. He decides to attend a school that is known for its powerful fighters. And then he gets there only to learn that this school is a lot less about fighting and much more about community service and beating the ever-loving shit out of any gangs who threatens the town's safety. The characters are absolutely delightful, and I really love the episodes that just show them interacting with each other and the townspeople. Now, I really do think that if this was 24 episodes and had more time to flesh out the characters, I wouldn't have felt as disappointed by how long that fighting tournament arc was, but you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I will definitely be watching the next season, and overall, I really did have a great time. We're gonna give Windbreaker a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, so I am deeply biased about Tadaima Okapi since it is my all-time favorite comfort manga. Did they do the anime justice? Absolutely. Like, this is honestly one of my favorite slice-of-life anime to come out in a long time, and every single episode gave me so much serotonin and made me unbelievably happy. Tadaima Okapi is not only a BL, but it is the first Omegaverse anime ever. All that y'all need to know about that is that Omegas can give birth regardless of gender. So Misaki is the one who gives birth to his and Hiromu's children. There is also the whole heat and rut aspect, but since it's a pretty PG Omegaverse, y'all don't really have to worry about that. Unlike some manhwa that's just, yeah, woof. What this anime really comes down to is a young family traversing, raising their children in a world that is still very prejudiced, both against them in terms of being a same-sex couple, but also being an alpha and omega pairing. Despite this, though, they're able to create a warm and welcoming home for their family and chosen family. I am 100% going to be watching this next season, and I am just so grateful that we got to experience this one. Tadaima Okapi gets a 9 out of 10. There are very few anime these days that have a uniquely original idea. Train to the End of the World is one of these rare few. This puppy is an absolute trip. Everything from the absolutely batshit insane storyline to the breathtaking animation to the tightly fit 12 episodes that perfectly tied everything together. This anime is damn near perfect. Following a gaggle of high schoolers 2 years after the 7G incident, which transformed the world into the most acid trip-inducing abstract clusterfuck, the likes I have never seen before. They hijack a train and set out to find their friend who disappeared during the incident. The normally 90-minute train ride is now days, if not weeks long, as every single train stop has been horrifically warped in different ways, spanning from residents who now have mushrooms growing out of their heads to straight-up zombies. I am very tempted to give this a perfect score, and it might change after a rewatch when I'm able to watch all 12 episodes in a row, but for now, we're gonna give Train to the End of the World a much-deserving 9.5 out of 10. I think the many sides of voice actor radio had a lot of cool concepts and some scenes that genuinely got to me, and one that even made me cry. But something kind of felt hollow about it. The two main characters, Yuhi and Yasumi, are both teenage voice actors who really don't like each other, but are forced to do a radio show together. Throughout the show, they work on anime and other projects together and make breakthroughs using their rivalry as motivation, but by the end, they still despise each other, which just felt really forced. It felt like the writers just locked them both into tsundere prototypes, and it really gutted all of their meaningful character growth. I also really didn't appreciate how this was labeled a GL in my anime list, when it 100% was not, and even had a joke in the final episode about Yuri baiting the audience. Overall, I feel like this had amazing potential, but it ended up being a show that I pushed to the side, and it was honestly a chore to finish up to make this seasonal anime review video. I might watch a second season, but I'm really not motivated to do so. The Many Sides of Voice Actor Radio gets a 6.5 out of 10. Ever wonder what the boys would be like if it was a Power Rangers show? Well, Go-Go Loser Ranger has you covered. This puppy got wild, and the sheer amount of character and story development legitimately left me feeling conflicted about everything by the end. The story follows a fighter who is a part of a small remnant of monsters left over 13 years after their bosses were taken out by this world's Power Rangers, aka the Dragon Keepers. These fighters are now forced to put on a stadium show every single Sunday so that the Dragon Keepers can continue the illusion that they're keeping the monsters at bay. But Fighter D is over it and decides to fight back and infiltrate the Dragon Keepers from the inside. I was honestly kind of shook by just how brutal this anime gets, and it really did remind me of The Boys at several moments. It did such an amazing job at developing everyone that you're left asking yourself, who is actually in the wrong? Go-Go Loser Rangers gets a 8 out of 10. As someone who loved the original Black Butler but hasn't enjoyed a series since the first season ended, I'm really not surprised that this arc also did not live up to those standards. This arc could have easily been 6 episodes instead of 11, they literally spent the first 8 episodes setting everything up, and then the entire mystery is resolved in an episode and a half. This series had little to no tension the whole show, and with everything wrapped up by episode 10, episode 11 felt completely unnecessary and ended with a cliched and unearned cliffhanger. Overall, the show was fine, I guess, but the thing that drew me to the original series was just how dark it was. And we're going to talk about some massive Black Butler Season 1 spoilers, so skip to here if you don't want to be spoiled. I loved how Seal died at the end of Season 1. I think it was the perfect way to end both his and Sebastian's story. So when they retconned that for Season 2, I lost all interest in continuing this series. I would like to believe that the public school arc happened before the end of Season 1 so that it wouldn't f with that perfect ending. But yeah, I guess I'm glad to have seen all my Black Butler babies back in action, but this was just a lukewarm season. And that scene with Sebastian flirting with a child, just absolutely no. 5 out of 10. Grimm Variations is like if the Grimm Fairy Tales and Black Mirror had a baby. Each one of the stories is exactly how it sounds, a variation. Some of the variations veered into sci-fi, fantasy, westerns, and even psychological horror and slashers. I absolutely loved the anthology format and was especially blown away by the Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, and Hansel and Gretel retellings. I really hope that they continue with this series because between the beautifully creative storytelling and the absolutely gorgeous animation by Wit Studios, this puppy has so much potential for future seasons. We're gonna give Grimm Variations a 7.5 out of 10. I honestly wasn't even remotely interested in checking out Astro Note until Mother's Basement recommended it to me. And I am so happy that I did. This anime was absolutely amazing and recreated that old school anime feel from the 70s and 80s that was pioneered by Maison Ikkoku. There was something beautifully nostalgic about how heavily it leaned into that throwback quality, from its animation style to its slapstick humor to its absolutely unhinged characters. We follow Takumi, an aspiring chef, as he applies for a chef position at a boarding house. This residency is filled with some of the most colorful and complex characters who just really flesh out the series. One thing leads to the next, and he ends up living there instead of getting the job. He quickly learns the truth behind the landlord Mira's ethereal mystery, and it's that she's actually a princess from the planet Wid, who has been sent to Earth to find a tool that will help protect her planet from intergalactic mayhem. I know that this anime wasn't rated very highly or received very well in Japan, which makes absolutely no sense since this was 100% one of my favorite anime of the season. Astro Note gets a 8 out of 10. We've been getting a decent amount of reboots lately, from Urusei Yatsura to Spice and Wolf to now Bartender Glass of God. This is a quiet slice-of-life anime and one that can appear rather dull from the outside until you sit with it and let yourself be absorbed by its intimate storytelling. Bartender Glass of God is a very well-made anime, but it really wasn't for me. I was 100% the wrong audience, especially since I had to give up alcohol due to a substance abuse problem. I will still give it props for being a beautifully made series, so please hear that and know that I am only giving it the following score because I personally didn't connect with it. I'm giving Bartender Glass of God a 6 out of 10. Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is an anime I never expected to watch, but I gave the first episode a go and was absolutely blown away. I can't really describe what watching this anime did to me mentally, emotionally, and how it even affected how I interact with different aspects of my creative careers. This anime found me exactly when I needed it and moved me so much that I'm making an entire video about it and how it legitimately transformed me, which you can watch in 2 weeks. Watching the girls of Jelly, the group that they create together, grow and thrive together was an absolute gift. I would rate this higher, but there are a few ecchi adjacent shots that, really detracted from the overall quality, which is a shame because this is a truly beautiful anime. We're gonna give Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night a 8 out of 10. Welcome to the official NekoDecoPop Awards, where everyone's a winner, but the awards might just not be. Starting out, we have the award for Best New Series goes to Train to the End of the World. The award for Best Continuing Series goes to Delicious in Dungeon. The award for Best Opening Song goes to The award for Best Ending Song goes to The award for Best Overall Style goes to Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. The award for Best Character goes to Misaki from Tadaima Okapi for just being the most wonderful and caring parent. The award for Best Train goes to Train from Train to the End of the World. The award for Best Wolf goes to Wolf from Grim Variations episode Little Red Riding Hood, who also gets the award for Most Creative Slasher. The award for Best Tsundere goes to Sakura Haruka from Windbreaker. The award for Worst Tsundere goes to Yuguru Yuhi from The Many Sides of the Voice Actor Radio. The award for Best Maison Koku Cosplay goes to Astro Note. The award for Best Homelander Relative goes to Red Keeper from Go Go Loser Ranger. The award for Best AA Recruitment Center goes to Eden Hall from Bartender Glass of God. The award for Best Over 30s Protagonist Who Made Me Feel Better About Turning 32 goes to Kafka Hibino from Kaiju No.8. And the award for Most Wasted Potential goes to Black Butler Public School Arc. Congratulations to all of our winners, and we'll see all of you at next season's awards. So to wrap things up, how did I feel about this season? Well, I think it was overall a really strong season. My favorites were Train to the End of the World, Kaiju No.8, Tadaima Okapi, and Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. Anime that I wish were better included Black Butler Public School Arc and The Many Sides of Voice Actor Radio. But before we wrap everything up, I wanted to talk with y'all on a personal note. I started this channel almost exactly a year ago, and it has been one of the most daunting and challenging projects I've ever taken on. I put everything in my life on hold for this channel, which left a lot of my life in shambles. But because of all of you and your support, I've been able to get monetized. You have single-handedly validated all of the non-stop work I put into this channel and have made me feel accepted and loved in this community that we've built together. Thank you so much for believing in me and spending your precious free time with me. I know that I say this at the end of every video, but thank you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here, and I'll see all of y'all on the next one.